Hello everyone. Welcome to my Y&R 24 spoilers. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Tessa wants answers, Noah's horrible crash, and Sienna and Holden's past. Spoilers for the week of October 13th, 2025 have been released for the young and the restless. It is anticipated by fans that Claire Grace Newman will cross paths with someone from Holden Novak's past. Nick Newman is informed by Sharon Newman that their kid was involved in a horrific vehicle accident. Let's discuss the upcoming events in the CBS soap opera as you continue reading. The past of Holden Novak. First, let's go to Los Angeles. Claire has been brought to the city by Holden, who will give her a tour. When the man brings Claire to a club, she meets Sienna, the proprietor. Sienna does, however, have a lot to say regarding the women in Holden's past. Sienna brings up Audra Charles, despite Holden's insistence that Claire is merely a friend. Holden's chances of winning Claire over could be ruined by this unpleasant situation. Speaking of Claire, she will encounter a barrier to her escape at the start of the week. It appears that Victoria Newman is persuaded to provide Kyle Abbott Claire's hotel address. Nate Hastings consoles Victoria in the middle of the week. It seems possible that these two will become close once more. Noah Newman's vehicle accident. Sharon traveled to Los Angeles to pay Noah Newman a visit. Initially, Sharon informed Nick that she was becoming concerned since she was unable to locate their son. Then, shortly after, Sharon called Nick in tears and informed him that Noah had been involved in a horrific accident. Nick and Sharon run into an enigmatic man later in the week. I wonder whether this is the same man who was observing Sharon when she called from the hospital in tears. What role does he play in Noah's crash? To what extent is the young man in trouble? Going to see Mariah Copeland. According to the young and the restless spoilers for the week of October 13th, Mariah Copeland will receive a visit from Tessa Porter. The brunette will want the complete truth and explanations. But Mariah might not respond as Tessa believes. Mariah might feel even more guilty rather than betrayed. Fans are ready for answers, nonetheless. The week of October 13th, 2025. Additionally, fans will witness Audra get a distressing reminder of her history. Billy Abbott and Jack Abbott make amends. From here, where do they take Kane Ashby? Noah's catastrophic crash, Claire and Sienna's meeting. Spoilers for the week of October 13th, 2025 have been released for the young and the restless. Fans can anticipate meeting Sienna and Claire Grace Newman. Nick Newman is informed of Noah Newman's vehicle accident by Sharon Newman in the meantime. Let's discuss the upcoming events in the CBS soap opera as you continue reading. The debut of Sienna. Let's begin with Claire and Holden Novak, played by Nathan Owens in Los Angeles. The blonde is taken to a Los Angeles club by the male. Sienna seems to believe that the relationship is a bit closer than Holden suggests, even though he introduces Claire as a friend. Subsequently, Sienna mentioned how much she didn't like Audra Charles. So, this might be something that Claire and Sienna can agree on. Later in the week, though, Claire's escape encounters a roadblock. The pressure of Kyle Abbott. Victoria Newman will be under pressure from Kyle Abbott after he returns to Genoa City. The young man requests the hotel address where Claire is staying. She might offer it to him, it seems. Victoria is consoled by Nate Hastings a little later. Victoria might find solace in Nate's embrace once more during her time of grief. The accident of Noah Newman. Sharon went to Los Angeles. Go visit Noah. When Sharon was first unable to locate her son, she became worried. Sharon then gives Nick a call from the hospital. According to the woman, Noah was involved in a very serious car accident. Additionally, it is mentioned that Nick and Sharon converse with an enigmatic stranger. What connection does this guy have to the crash and Noah? Visit to Taraya. According to spoilers for the week of October 13th on The Young and the Restless, Tessa Porter will visit Mariah Copeland. The singer will want to speak with Mariah about her behavior after discovering some unsettling information. What will Mariah's response be, and will Tessa be given additional details? The week of October 13th, 2025. A distressing reminder of Audra's past is given to her. Billy Abbott and Jack Abbott have a heart-to-heart in the meantime. In addition, Nikki Newman takes action on her own. Victor Newman's plan to knife Jack in the back after defeating Kane Ashby did not sit well with Nikki. What will the matriarch do about it, I wonder? A sweeping storm of secrets, heartache, and shocking revelations that rock both Genoa City and Los Angeles is what the upcoming week of The Young and the Restless promises. As characters from the CBS soap opera reunite, old and new romances are rekindled, old scars are reopened, and decisions are made that could permanently change the relationships we've grown to love and doubt. The world of the show grows once more. 3 main plot lines dominate the week of October 13th, 2025. Tessa Porter's unrelenting quest for answers from Mariah Copeland, Noah Newman's tragic accident that leaves Sharon and Nick in shock, and Holden Novak's enigmatic past colliding with Sienna Bacall's furious debut. Together, they create a tapestry of love, lies, devotion, and grief from which no one will ever truly emerge unaltered. Each thread provides the emotional intensity and mystery that The Young and the Restless feeds on. The history of Holden Novak and the arrival of Sienna Bacall. Holden Novak's world takes center stage in Los Angeles as he tries to manage his developing friendship, or maybe something more, with Claire Grace Newman, while ghosts from his past, the sardonic and mysterious Sienna Bacall, reappear. Holden wants to show Claire the bright lights of Los Angeles at the beginning of the week, maybe in the hopes that the city's vibrancy will help her forget about the mayhem she left behind in Genoa City. However, LA is more than simply Holden's playground. It's a minefield of memories, errors, and unresolved issues. He's not simply entering a glamorous hot spot when he enters Sienna's upscale nightclub with Claire on his arm. He's going into his history, and Sienna is waiting, eager to make sure he doesn't forget anything. The unmatched Tamara Braun portrays Sienna Bacall, a club owner with layers of ambition, resentment, and possibly a residual fondness for Holden. Unspoken tension, the kind that only results from a love that once blazed too brilliantly and left ashes in its wake, is abundant during their reunion. It's obvious that Sienna knows how to make Holden uncomfortable from the minute she meets him with her cunning grin. She sees Claire right away and evaluates the situation. Claire is a younger, attractive woman who is a little anxious and clings to Holden as though she doesn't know where she belongs. Without wasting any time, Sienna interrupts the courteous, small conversation to bring up Holden's past romance. Are you still hanging around with blondes who have no idea what they're getting into? She jokes in a tone that is equal parts sarcastic and melancholy. Holden makes an effort to divert attention by maintaining that Claire is just a friend, but the damage has already been done. There's a lot of tension in the air, and Sienna's sly smile implies that she doesn't believe a word of it. Here, The Young and the Restless demonstrates why it is still a dominant force in character-driven drama. Sienna's arrival complicates Holden's redemption storyline in addition to adding a new character. Although we've seen glimmers of Holden attempting to start again, Sienna's presence serves as a reminder that redemption is rarely clear-cut or straightforward. The atmosphere becomes spooky when she brings up Audra Charles, another lady from Holden's past. Holden's jaw tenses as Claire's courteous exterior wavers. In LA, Audra's name is well known. And returned to Genoa City. Sienna and Claire, 2 women attracted to a man who appears to attract disaster, form an odd, transient friendship via their mutual contempt for Audra. However, Sienna's remarks went beyond simple rumors. Her tone has a hint of caution, as though she's warning Claire to exercise caution because Holden's charm has strings attached, and those ropes have previously choked many hearts. Claire's journey, her so-called escape, encounters a significant obstacle as the week goes on. When Kyle Abbott persuades Victoria Newman to give him Claire's hotel address, the world she believed she could vanish into feels suddenly more constricting and narrow. Although Kyle's reasons aren't totally clear, his perseverance suggests that he may be harboring unresolved emotions or perhaps guilt. Regardless of his motivation, his meddling threatens Claire's brutal sense of autonomy. Victoria, meantime, is feeling more and more exposed and emotionally spent. Her interactions with Nate Hastings start off as business check-ins, but turn into more intimate and personal exchanges. Victoria finds solace in Nate's serene assurance, but their growing intimacy may cause them to rehash old scars they are both unwilling to confront. Even while reopening that door could lead to yet another round of grief, their once unquestionable magnetism still lingers beneath the surface, suggesting that their narrative may not be done. Noah Newman's terrible vehicle accident. Another storm that will rock Sharon and Nick Newman to their foundations is building again in Los Angeles. Sharon went to Los Angeles, wishing for a happy reunion with Noah Newman, her son. Over time, their relationship, always compassionate but often tense, had been healing. Sharon's wish was straightforward: to get back in touch and remind Noah that, despite his pursuit of goals on the West Coast, his family remained his compass. The universe, however, had other ideas. Sharon's tone is cautious and worried when she calls Nick for the first time. She tells him that she hasn't been able to find Noah anywhere, including his apartment, favorite hangouts, and even among his pals. Nick initially tries to reassure her, thinking Noah is just preoccupied with his work. But everything changes when the phone arrives. When Sharon talks to Nick again, her voice is hardly the same, shaky, damaged, and desperate. Between sobbing, she chokes out, "It's Noah, there's been an accident." As Nick's mind tries to comprehend what he has just heard, the line becomes silent and heavy with shock. The idea of losing another child is unimaginable for parents who have already endured so much, from face hardships to Cassie's terrible death. Sharon breaks down in tears as she recounts the hospital scene. Noah comatose, surrounded by tubes and monitors, physicians working swiftly but providing little explanations. The soap opera's authors capitalize on the raw, emotional authenticity that devoted fans seek, and the visual alone is heartbreaking. Sharon stays by Noah's bedside all week long, holding his hand and muttering assurances that he will return to her. She remembers his early years, his drawings, his laughter, and how he would bring the family together even during their most trying times. Nick, meantime, is consumed by remorse and races to Los Angeles. He holds himself responsible for not showing up sooner and for not exerting more effort when Sharon expressed concern. It is terrible to see two parents reunited in the hospital, their long-lost bond rekindled by their common suffering. However, this tragedy is more complicated than it first appears. When an enigmatic figure starts prowling the hospital hallways, the young and the restless takes a terrifying turn. Viewers will recall this man's uncomfortable presence and inscrutable countenance as he watched Sharon during her tearful phone call. The man calmly presents himself and says he knows what happened to Noah when Nick confronts him later. It's a concerning assertion that begs many more questions than it does. Is there any connection between Sienna and Holden and this stranger? Maybe Noah's new photography project, which was supposed to reveal corruption among LA's elite, had something to do with him. When Sharon discovers a folded image of Noah with a group of strangers, one of whom looks very like the stranger, in his possession, the mystery grows. It's obvious what this means. Noah's crash may not have been an accident. Similar to previous storylines like Cassie's death or Adam Newman's hidden reappearance, this one promises to combine mystery with emotional destruction. The distinction is that in the YNR universe, Noah's journey is directly related to the new Los Angeles setting, entwining his destiny with that of Holden, Claire, and Sienna in ways that may irrevocably bind the two cities. As Sharon and Nick investigate more, they find discrepancies in the police report that raise the possibility of evidence manipulation. Is it possible that someone requested Noah to move aside? If so, what is the reason? For devoted viewers, this arc offers some of the most potent Sharon-Nick content in years, and the emotional stakes couldn't be greater. Tessa wants Mariah to respond. Back in Genoa City, Another emotional reckoning takes place as the Newman family struggles with tragedy. Tessa Porter comes home determined to confront Mariah Copeland about the truth. In modern soap opera history, the relationship has consistently been one of the most intricate and poignant. Distance, sorrow, and internal strife have all been part of their love story. But this time, Tessa is returning home for more than just love. She's returning home for closure. Tessa shows up unexpectedly at the start of the week, her calm exterior belying the fury inside her eyes. She has gained knowledge that has caused her to doubt Mariah's integrity. According to the teasers, Tessa has learned of information that casts Mariah's recent behavior in a negative light. Tessa wants to hear it directly from her wife, regardless of whether it has to do with Mariah's actions toward their family, a secret she has been hiding, or even her involvement in a more significant Newman-related matter. Their altercation starts off mildly enough. Mariah tries to embrace Tessa, astonished but delighted to see her. However, Tessa withdraws, her tone tense. She says, "We need to talk," and the tone change foreshadows one of the most poignant passages of the week. Tessa starts to ask questions, not accusations, but requests for honesty, and Mariah's walls break down. Tessa whispers, "I've supported you through everything." There is a tangible weight to her statement. "All I want is the truth." The strain becomes too much for Mariah, whose guilt has been mounting for weeks. She sobs, acknowledging that she made a decision that she believed would keep Tessa safe, but that actually widened their gap. Although the specifics are still unclear, it is obvious that Mariah's choice has emotional and moral ramifications that extend well beyond their marriage. The emotional authenticity of the storyline is what gives it such impact. Instead of betrayal, Tessa's anguish stems from disappointment that the person she trusted the most was unable to be truthful with her. The remorse takes on a life of its own and threatens to devour Mariah. She appears to be almost relieved to be challenged rather than reacting angrily. It serves as a reminder that in Genoa City, quiet moments of vulnerability rather than dramatic admissions are frequently the means by which truth is revealed. This confrontation is long overdue and will probably be both upsetting and therapeutic for fans who have followed since the beginning. The future of the relationship is still up in the air by the conclusion of the week. With tears in her eyes, Tessa whispers that she needs time to reflect as she departs Mariah's flat. It remains to be seen if that period will result in reconciliation or a traumatic split, but one thing is certain. Y&R is laying the groundwork for yet another emotionally stirring plot in which truth and love clash in the most humane of ways. The bigger picture, relationships, and repercussions. Although the week is dominated by these three major arcs, Genoa City's entrenched power structures are deeply impacted. The woman Sienna addressed so carelessly, Audra Charles, must deal with her own sad reminder of the past. Perhaps a picture, a phone call, or even an encounter triggers memories she would prefer to forget, experiences that may have a direct connection to Sienna's or Holden's life. In the meantime, Jack and Billy Abbott have a long overdue brotherly talk in which they finally resolve their differences. After years of distrust, treachery, and business rivalry, their relationship finally comes to terms. Jack acknowledges that he wants peace for the sake of the Abbott name's legacy, as well as for himself after growing tired of the never-ending power conflicts. Torn between ambition and loyalty, Billy listens, but for the first time in a long time, they seem to be able to agree. In the midst of the mayhem, their fragile reconciliation provides a glimmer of hope. Then there's Nikki Newman, the matriarch who has experienced every kind of storm, but doesn't let the men in her life to control her. Nikki's patience eventually gives out when she finds out that Victor is preparing yet another vicious takedown, this time including Jack and Kane Ashby. She reminds Victor that his fixation with control has destroyed more lives than it has saved by bringing up a fire from her childhood. "You'll lose everything real if you can't stop fighting ghosts," she cautions in a steady but heartbroken voice. Her choice to take matters into her own hands raises the possibility that Nikki may meddle in Victor's schemes in a way that could be disastrous for her marriage, as well as the Newman enterprise as a whole. Final remarks. One notable turning point in the Young and the Restless history occurred during the week of October 13th, 2025. The show skillfully strikes a balance between fresh novelty and profound emotional continuity, which is what makes this collection of narratives so captivating. The addition of Sienna Bacall broadens the scope of the performance by establishing a natural and promising connection between Genoa City and Los Angeles. Fans have a wealth of new mysteries to discover because of her relationship with Holden Novak, and consequently with Claire Grace and perhaps Audra. Meanwhile, tragedy and mystery are introduced into the Newman family's orbit by Noah Newman's terrible crash, giving Sharon and Nick the chance to once again demonstrate their extraordinary emotional range. In the more subdued areas of the painting, Tessa and Mariah's agonizing realization serves as a reminder that no matter how powerful love is, it cannot endure without integrity. By the end of the week, there are a lot more questions than answers. What is Sienna Bacall's current influence over Holden, and who is she exactly? Was she involved in Noah's accident in any way? What does the stranger know about Sharon and Nick's son, and why is he stalking them? Will the rekindled relationship between Victoria and Nate benefit or hurt them both? And will Tessa and Mariah be able to reconcile before secrets permanently separate them? Every decision taken this week will have an impact for months to come, in typical Y&R manner. Love and grief, past and present, truth and deceit are all woven throughout the plots, reminding viewers why The Young and the Restless has endured for decades as a show that offers heartfelt drama, meaningful intrigue, and flawed yet realistic characters.